Hello listeners. Welcome to another podcast on world history. Today I will talk about the 7 kings, which falls under early Rome. This content is about to explain the significance of the 7 kings of Rome to Roman culture. So, let's get started. The 7 kings. For its first 200 years, Rome was ruled by 7 kings, each of whom is credited either with establishing a key Roman tradition or constructing an important building. The first 200 years of Roman history occurred under a monarchy. Rome was ruled by 7 kings over this period of time, and each of their reigns were characterized by the personality of the ruler in question. Each of these kings is credited either with establishing a key Roman tradition, or constructing an important building. None of the 7 kings were known to be dynasts, and no reference is made to the hereditary nature of kingdom until after the 5th king, Tarkinis Priscus. The king of Rome possessed absolute power over the people, and the Senate provided only a weak, oligarchic counterbalance to his power, primarily exercising only minor administrative powers. For these reasons, the kingdom of Rome is considered an absolute monarchy. Despite this, Roman kings, with the exception of Romulus, were elected by citizens of Rome who occupied the Curiate Assembly. There, members would vote on candidates that had been nominated by a chosen member of the Senate, called an interrex. Candidates could be chosen from any source. Romulus. Romulus was Rome's legendary first king and the city's founder. In 753 BCE, Romulus began building the city upon the Palatine Hill. After founding and naming Rome, as the story goes, he permitted men of all classes to come to Rome as citizens, including slaves and freemen, without distinction. To provide his citizens with wives, Romulus invited the neighboring tribes to a festival in Rome where he abducted the young women amongst them. This is known as the rape of the Sabina women. After the ensuing war with the Sabines, Romulus shared the kingship with the Sabina king, Tulas Hostilius. Romulus selected 100 of the most noble men to form the Roman Senate as an advisory council to the king. These men were called Patra, from pater, father, head, and their descendants became the patricians. He also established voting, and class structures that would define socio-political proceedings throughout the Roman Republic and Empire. Pneuma Pompelius. After the death of Romulus, there was an interregnum for 1 year, during which 10 men chosen from the Senate governed Rome as successive interreges. Pneuma Pompelius, a Sabina, was eventually chosen by the Senate to succeed Romulus because of his reputation for justice and piety. Pneuma's reign was marked by peace and religious reform. Pneuma constructed a new temple to Janus and, after establishing peace with Rome's neighbors, shut the doors of the temple to indicate a state of peace. The doors of the temple remained closed for the balance of his reign. He established the cult of the Vestal Virgins at Rome, as well as the leaping priests, known as the Salii, and 3 Flamines, or priests, assigned to Jupiter, Mars, and Quirinus. He also established the office and duties of Pontifex Maximus, the head priest of the Roman state religion. Tulas Hostilius. Tulas Hostilius was much like Romulus in his warlike behavior, and completely unlike Pneuma in his lack of respect for the gods. Tulas waged war against Alba Longa, Phoidni, and Veii, and the Sabines. It was during Tulas' reign that the city of Alba Longa was completely destroyed, after which Tulas integrated its population into Rome. According to the Roman historian Livy, Tulas neglected the worship of the gods until, towards the end of his reign, he fell ill and became superstitious. However, when Tulas called upon Jupiter and begged assistance, Jupiter responded with a bolt of lightning that burned the king and his house to ashes. Tulas is attributed with constructing a new home for the Senate, the Curia Hostilia, which survived for 562 years after his death. Ankus Marcius. Following the death of Tulas, the Romans elected a peaceful and religious king in his place, Pneuma's grandson, Ankus Marcius. Much like his grandfather, Ankus did little to expand the borders of Rome, and only fought war when his territories needed defending. Lucius Tarkinis Priscus. Lucius Tarquinius Priscus was the fifth king of Rome and the first of Etruscan birth. After immigrating to Rome, he gained favor with Ankus, who later adopted him as his son. Upon ascending the throne, he waged wars against the Sabines and Etruscans, doubling the size of Rome and bringing great treasures to the city. One of his first reforms was to add 100 new members to the Senate from the conquered Etruscan tribes, bringing the total number of senators to 200. He used the treasures Rome had acquired from conquests to build great monuments for Rome, including the Roman Forum, the Temple to Jupiter on the Capitoline Hill, and the Circus Maximus. His reign is best remembered for the introduction of Etruscan symbols of military distinction and civilian authority into the Roman tradition, including the scepter of the king, the rings worn by senators, and the use of the tuba for military purposes. Servias Tulas. Following Priscus's death, his son-in-law, Servias Tulas, succeeded him to the throne. Like his father-in-law before him, Servius fought successful wars against the Etruscans. He used the treasure from his campaigns to build the first Pomerium walls that fully encircled the 7 hills of Rome. He also made organizational changes to the Roman army, and was renowned for implementing a new constitution for the Romans and further developing the citizen classes. Servius's reforms brought about a major change in Roman life. Voting rights were now based on socio-economic status, transferring much of the power into the hands of the Roman elite. The 44-year reign of Servius came to an abrupt end when he was assassinated in a conspiracy led by his own daughter, Tullia, and her husband, Lucius Tarquinius Superbus. Lucius Tarquinius Superbus. While in power, Tarquinius conducted a number of wars against Rome's neighbors, including the Volsci, Gabii, and the Rutuli. Tarquinius also engaged in a series of public works, notably the completion of the Temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus on the Capitoline Hill. Tarquin's reign, however, is best remembered for his use of violence and intimidation in his attempts to maintain control over Rome, as well as his disrespect of Roman custom and the Roman Senate. Tensions came to a head when the king's son, Sextus Tarquinius, raped Lucretia, wife and daughter to powerful Roman nobles. Lucretia then told her relatives about the attack and subsequently committed suicide to avoid the dishonor of the episode. 4 men, led by Lucius Junius Brutus, incited a revolution, and as a result, Tarquinius and his family were deposed and expelled from Rome in 509 BCE. Because of his actions and the way they were viewed by the people, the word for king, rex, held a negative connotation in Roman culture until the fall of the Roman Empire. Brutus and Collateralinius became Rome's first consuls, marking the beginning of the Roman Republic. This new government would survive for the next 500 years, until the rise of Julius Caesar and Caesar Augustus, and cover a period in which Rome's authority and area of control extended to cover great areas of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to check out other tracks as well. Show your love by hitting the subscribe button and do like, comment and share, to spread knowledge. See you next time. Till then, keep learning for fun.